Hi, my name is Heaven George, and I'm from Redlands, California. And yeah, so I'm just trying to get the light in my phone here. Okay, so whatever. That's how the video's gonna be. I can't really do anything about it. You saw my chunky eyes. How you doing? Okay, I'm gonna leave that go. Kind of reminds me of Wendy Williams. Hers is fake. She has a fake too. Oh, never mind. I shouldn't say that. I shouldn't talk about myself like that because I don't know who my viewers are. I don't know what age my viewers are. I know that a lot of gang stalking victims, a lot of times they're not really young. Not that I'm saying anyone's old. I'm kind of on the younger end of being picked on for these slander mobbing campaigns. Generally, they're a bit older. From all the videos I've been seeing and articles I've been reading, they get picked more in the middle of their life when this bullying campaign stuff happens. No, I don't know why. Because, again, unlike you, you're not a real criminal. Because criminals, they generally have a history from youth, meaning their teen or young adult years. That's generally when they're most active in life. And then with these slander mobbing campaigns, because you're not a criminal, you're not doing it, they are. And the people harassing us are around middle age, you know? So, oh, sorry, my name's Heaven, I'm George, and I'm from Redlands, California. I think I'm supposed to start, also like every video I'm supposed to start it like that. This little yellow little light thing, it's not supposed to do that, but it is. I can't do anything about it at this point, but I need some lighting. Yeah, you can see my arm. Anyways, so I'm gonna try to continue the video. Anyways, back to my life as a victim of organized gang stalking or community-based harassment or whatever. The reason from click views, I've noticed that a lot of them that say gang stalking, they get more views than if you put like slander or mobbing or bullying. I mean, I don't know, maybe I would find a little. It's just hard. For title purposes, I might put title that I don't even necessarily think fits to the real description of what the video is about. That's just a warning heads up of how I don't necessarily believe in gang stalking. I believe in community-based harassment. And again, I don't really know if there's a perfect word, though I like reading books on, gang stalking or articles on gang stalking because there are definitely aspects of it that I feel I can relate to, and then the community ganging up on you, and the government employee and officials manipulating the system, governmental abuse, things of that nature. There's no real way to prove or disprove any of these books or opinions or any victims on these videos or YouTube, whatever. You could be lying for all I know, but I trust you. But then you'd be like, what about all the people that you accused? So all these little videos and YouTubes and articles, what about all the people you accused? Am I not going to believe the person that you accused? So you accuse someone of committing, example, you said at your work somebody called you a bad word or somebody fired you for false reasons. So now in my head, when I see that person, if I ever see them again, am I supposed to be like, I'm going to avoid them because you don't like them? You know what I mean? That's the thing sometimes when you're taking the word of victims or stories, especially when you can't prove it in a court of law. But again, the criminal justice system, you can screw it if you want, especially if you work in the system. They already have the rules and regulations memorized. The law, because they learned it, so they know how to take advantage. It'd just be easier for them than most people. Most people, for most people, what is the situation? You don't really have much knowledge of the legal system and stuff unless you like to read books like that or you like watch a lot of. If it's your entertainment, you like to learn stuff like that. Some people hobby even criminals. They have not always, but the more successful criminals, the ones that don't get caught, stuff they read law books. Yes, criminals do read law books, especially the successful. And I shouldn't say successful. I'm making it sound like an award, like I'm an award. I'm giving them this name, successful. Those little criminal experts, those who are better at it. Like there's levels of criminal. A lot of them, I'd say most of them probably do get caught. Depends what kind of crime we're talking about. I'd say a lot of them, because of the way the law is set up, it's like with the cops, if they see you, they lock you. They don't really need more evidence other than they said that you did it. And as a result, it kind of makes it easier to catch them like that. Well, not really. There's a little substance of whatever they said is missing or extra that you have. So it's kind of whatever he says, and so as a result of that, I don't think it's too difficult to catch them. Anyways, yeah, so criminal just, people, if you know what you're doing, they would read law books. The ones that don't get caught, they're on the internet reading books on law and online. Yeah, they're reading it. They might not go to the law library. That's a little weird. Maybe not highly. You can get a law book all online. You can pay for it all online if you really wanted to. So there's free ones that you can pay. It's just a little bit expensive. I would say most people in first worlds could afford a lot of different law books if you really had an interest and motivation. But again, it's like, you have to kind of cut your budget off of other stuff that you wanted to do. You have to cut it off a little bit because it can be expensive, and they update the books a lot and stuff like that. Or it's affordable, so anyone could do it. So, with the exception of those type of criminals who know what they're doing, generally, I don't know, do criminals study the law or not, or whatever, to understand? I don't know, sometimes it's just comments. They have a little plot in their head. You have to think of the idea of what you're planning to do and how not to get caught and things. So there's a little bit of planning, I guess, ahead of time. It depends on what type of crime we're talking about, too, falsification and documentation, which a lot of them, there's no planning required. That one's just instant. There's certain where you don't need to plan it out. They're just kind of like top of your head. You can think of, like the stuff they're doing to me. No, the community-based harassment, the slander stuff is thought out. That's thought out. Like they've thought it out. I'm not in any way saying that you need Harvard intelligence, high IQ genius stuff. No, anyone could do it, but they've thought it out. They've thought it out socially, emotionally. The people that they know, places, stuff like that. They're connected. They know people, social networking. No one is saying they're intelligent. I don't think that the people harassing or abusing me are of above average intelligence. I don't think that they're smart. I don't necessarily think they're the dumbest people, though I think any dumb person could do this. Because, like I said, I don't think intelligence is required to do something as evil and stupid as this. You just need social. Most likely, intelligence level is average. You'd be like, oh, why not borderline mental retarded? Or why don't we say that they're below average? Like I said, a lot of dumb people probably don't have very good education level, meaning a lot of dumb people have very bad jobs. That's my guess, too. So, also, you have, in order to be, to gain social respect, in order to be in your community, in order for people to look up to you, be attracted to you, to admire you, you have to fit into the culture and things of that nature. You need to be normal. So if this person did not graduate high school, you're not normal. You're abnormal. Okay? If you have a low job that's worse than most people in your society, that's not normal. You're not blending in. So the people doing this are, like I said, most likely somewhere in the average. Okay. To do something like this, anyone could do it. It's just you need the appearance, the house, the car, the normal, the lifestyle, the type of food they eat, the restaurant places that they go to, the shopping places you go, entertainment, the music, the places, vacation stuff. You have to fit in with the society to do. It has nothing to really do with intelligence or brain, but part of fitting in, you have to look like the people around you. That's why an ugly person would not really have the ability to do something like this and that. Well, yes, they could participate. Keyword here is participate. But if you are ugly, well, what did I say about ugly? Ugly people, there's either you're born that way or it's due to lack of taking care of yourself. One or the other, really bad genetics, or you're not taking care of yourself and you kind of defunct. And in the cases of like not taking care of yourself appropriately, that's, self-esteem and stuff issues. And then that means your life's not together. That means you have problems in your life. That means you're having issues, relationship or social or whatever. There's some sort of problem. If you're ugly, you're more likely not to get near people. But then also, people are not going to get near you because being ugly is your representation of a destructive life. Example, a fat person or a person that dresses weird or looks inappropriate, like a clown suit. If everybody wore a clown suit everywhere, nobody would. There's no law against it. There's no law against you wearing a clown suit and wearing clown hair. So if you look, if you dye your hair green, or you wear gold pants, gold shirt, gold necklace, gold nail polish, gold hair, you're gonna look crazy, and there's no law against it. But there's just anytime you look abnormal, things of that nature, people will avoid you just for that. Though, you can't really say it's a signal of mental illness. Like, I know they say if you behave different, sometimes that's a sign of mental illness, but not exactly, not always. Something to that extremity. I mean, people might perceive you as such, but legally speaking, I don't think they could give you a mental health disorder based on the abnormal your appearances and things like that. But yeah, back to normal. You gotta be very normal to do something like this. So what they're doing, these people that are slandering me and mobbing and harassing me, they're fitting in with some sort of social cultural. See, the reason why this topic even makes me interested, the fact that I'm even saying this out loud, the fact that I'm telling you, the fact that this is even in my mind, the fact, that's in my head, that, like, I even think like this, that I'm focusing on this particular topic, is because I guess the fact that I would never be perceived as normal, given the society that I'm in, be it my appearance, or my educational level, or my financial situation, or socially, emotionally, my health. I don't fit into societal perception of normal, especially when you're comparing to westernized society, first world. So in a way, this topic kind of interests me a little bit, which is why I brought it. Not that it's really important for you to understand, but it's the way I understand how people could do something like this, and how certain people do not have the ability, or certain people do not have the correct appearances to participate, or you could, I guess, participating, I think a lot of people could participate, but to orchestrate and to plan or to gain this much trust in the community, there are certain factors of how certain people could be used as bait. 100-year-old or a 5-year-old, they can be used as bait to the situation, and that can happen, and people that would not be deemed normal in society, they would be seen as, kind of the extreme compared to everyone else. So there are kind of exceptions to what I'm saying, in that, there's little cuts and pieces of how the situation collects itself. I didn't create the system, I didn't create the world. I didn't create these people's brains and how it operates. I'm only kind of learning the way these people are thinking based on the way that they're treating me and what they've done to me. So, and that I'm making, from these examples, like, I'm learning how and why they're doing what they're doing, and how it applies to my life. So yeah, I didn't put these thoughts in their heads. They're the ones expressing it to me, or expressing it to other people, and, creating trouble and problems that don't need to be there. And so all I'm trying to do, I guess, in my head, is make sense, to the best that I can, why they've done this. Though in the end, it can never make sense, and that it's crazy, it's weird, it's really stupid, and you can look at the situation over and over as many times as you want, and it never makes sense, because it's just wrong, and you didn't do anything to prove it. Just, life is so weird. Sometimes there's situations in life that are very not normal, and are very weird, and don't make sense at all, because this situation, I mean, I understand in a way why they're doing it to me, kind of, but at the same time, it still doesn't make sense, because, like, why do you want to do this? They're wasting their time. this is fun for them, but all they're doing is eat. Now, of course, they don't hurt themselves in the process. So what? Saturday. They wasted a Saturday. What is that going to do for them? Or, so what? They wasted, okay, harassing and bullying and orchestrating this plan. What? Maybe it took them 5 hours, 20 hours to throughout their life, maybe 100 hours. So what? There's, 100 years to a human life. So what? They spent a little bit of time trying to ruin my life. They don't really lose anything by harassing me. They don't really lose anything. So, motivation to why they keep doing it. Anyways, yeah, the people doing this, it's just a game for them. So anyways, to why they did this, like I said, it's just bullying, like racism, discrimination, stigma, stereotyping, all this stuff like that. Like, it don't really make sense, but you can only label it as such. That's the reason. The reason is they just want to create a problem in your life. And, they don't feel guilty. They're not, to me, if they felt bad, they wouldn't do it. That's how I feel. Now, maybe that's not necessarily true, but most likely I am probably correct. So, anyways, so like they're not going to admit to the stuff. So, I don't know if I should skip to the byline harassment or if I should just end it right here. I guess this is kind of like the reason why they're doing it, or how you have to be normal to do something like this. I'm not anyway saying that people that are abnormal or don't socially fit in could never do something like this. It might just be they never were given the opportunity, meaning that they were not really that well established in the community. So I'm not anyway saying being a normal person makes you a bad person. It does not. It's what you want to do with your life. But, at the same time, the people doing this may appear normal to society, but there's something slightly abnormal in their brain in that I don't think most people would do what they've done. So most people may participate in the slander and gossip and violence, challenge, gesturing, harassment, but the person who would start this and do the stalking, the falsification document, everyone would do that. I mean, not everyone, but a lot of people do that. That one's just kind of a given, but goes back to the gossiping one. But see, the actual starting and orchestrating a slander campaign and trying to create false information to harass and destroy. This is the plan. The plan is to literally destroy your life. That is the plan. The plan is not just for, well, you can say, what was their objective? Like, why did they do this? Like, besides ruining my life is the only answer I can come to the conclusion of. They're not trying to avoid you. They're not trying to avoid you. See, if they wanted to avoid you, they keep their mouth shut, they mind their own business, they live their own life, they don't deal with you. That's avoiding you. That's avoiding you. These people are not avoiding you. They're making stories up to make sure that to harass you, to make sure that your life is very difficult in the near future. Okay? They're not avoiding you. Okay? So, their objective is not purely isolation. It's beyond that. And so, you say, well, why are they doing this? What do they get? There's no money. That's the thing about the situation. There is not really, from my little bit, yeah, here and there. I've seen on a little bit here and there how the criminal justice system, if they exaggerate and falsify documents, things of that nature, yeah, they get more. I shouldn't say customers. You're not paying into the system. So yeah, they get more guaranteed their job, blah blah blah. So for some people, there is somewhat of an objective why they could kind of do stuff like that. I don't think it's the biggest reason, though. I think there can be certain people who can. I don't think money is the biggest reason. Though sometimes it's just racism and discrimination and stuff like that. Almost bullying. It's kind of on that level, though not exactly. It definitely. Though there was huge financial profits for them to abuse me in the system, and that could be a separate explanation on how the system and how they rip me off and take advantage of the situation and stuff like that. There are financial benefits to what they have done to me. There is. to what those benefits are, what I'm willing to expose. Basically, if they send you to the hospital for false reasons, the hospital's going to get paid for things that you don't actually, services you don't need. And then there's the issue of getting wrongly diagnosed or being put on the wrong medication, or if you don't have a health disorder. And then there's the issue of them ignoring your emotional issues, therefore you really can't get better because you have nobody to talk to about your problems, you don't have anyone to go, blah, blah, blah. And then you get stuck with only the internet and the Google and all this other stuff like that to try to help you, to try to help you with your life and stuff like that. So you get really left alone in a box and all this stuff because you can't communicate it with anyone and you're left with practically no reason. So, I mean, financially, is there a financial benefit to this? Maybe, maybe not. Technically, yes, because if they keep, the government's losing money, and that all the money that was supposed to be used to help you is now, creating a problem in your life and stuff like that. So, that could have been the objective all along. They may have just all done this to ruin your life. Is there any money that they get from abusing you? Yes and no. I mean, it's a complex to explain. Well, not complex. It can be easy. The hospital is going to gain money, but the government's going to lose money because the government, through taxpayer dollar, right? Or if it's your insurance. So I was thinking my insurance, but if it's somebody's gaining or losing basically in the process, right? By the police locking people up, they gain a bunch of money, right? They get to keep their job and stuff. So it's actually to their objective. Now, of course, morally and religiously, it's not to their objective, like, right? Or legally, if they get caught, they can be penalized, stuff like that. But if nobody ever finds out, it's actually to their advantage to lock a bunch of people up and that they get paid more. The question is, like, why would they ever want to do that? That's just so evil. But what if they were getting fired? What if there was a lot of layoffs? What if blah, 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 stuff like that? They just need to keep their income, blah, blah, blah. They're afraid. Or they have a bully personality and they harass people. To the hospital and government employee and social service, it is actually to their benefit to, then again, you'd be like, if you complain, then it looks bad. Yeah, but if you don't have evidence to your complaint, then you look like the liar. So you might not even want to complain. Who's going to believe the word of a criminal? Especially if you've been found guilty of something or stuff like that. So, it is kind of to their objective or to their advantage to kind of harass you or do these types of stuff. Generally, if they don't do it to a lot of people, then they won't necessarily get in trouble for it. If they selectively pick a few people or certain people for bad reasons or whatever. Like, I understand there's situations where, someone got let off or they deserve to be penalized and they weren't penalized. There are situations like that, but obviously that's not the case with these situations. It's not really like them, trying to correct the system for its imperfection or whatever. This is just them. They're just confusing the public and creating panic and making people think that there's more criminals than there really are and making people scared of certain people for no reason. They're creating fear in the system. They're making, I wouldn't say fear, actually, because if people were afraid of you, they wouldn't do the violent harassment. They wouldn't do the falsification of documentation. They wouldn't lie to your face, harass you, bully you, insult you, and all that stuff, right? If you're afraid of someone, you would avoid them. Even if you were forced to deal with them on a consistent basis, because let's say that you work there or you live with that person or whatever it is the situation, you would avoid it, right? These people are not avoiding me, they're harassing me, therefore they're not afraid of me. So maybe fear is not really the real issue. Then you need to be like, we fear criminals, that's why we lock them up. No, we hate criminals and we want them to burn in hell. That's why we lock them up. I don't know who's angry. I don't know if it's fear or anger, because especially with the violent silent gesture and harassment, I don't know if fear is the correct word to use. I mean, you fear death. Everybody fears death. That's why you live. You fear like bad stuff happening in your life, so you try to avoid bad situations and you try to live a good life. So those are fear. What is fear? You fear like bugs and critters, and that's why you leave the animals in the animal kingdom, and we don't create houses for animals. The only animals we keep we let the birds fly in the air where the heck they want. They can, whatever trees they can follow. Nobody kills them off or anything. Just let them sit. And, shit all over the floor. It was like, they don't really kill them all off or whatever. You just let them And then again, we've kind of cut off all their trees to create land. So I don't know. I guess we've kind of pushed them or forced them back to the forest area where their habitat now remains. Maybe that's what we've done as a solution. The only ones we keep is the little doggy and the cat and maybe a fish. Well, eat the fish. Never mind. I don't know. So there's a few animals that people keep, but generally I would say people are afraid of animals. Or they're disgusted by them and that they're useless. They don't do anything for you. So whatever. They're locked in their own little kingdom. I don't know. Would I say that people are afraid? With my situation, no. I don't think they're actually afraid of me because they can't prove what they're saying. I don't think fear is the actual root issue, though that's what they're telling the community. This person's bad, but I don't think fear is, because of the amount of harassment, the body language challenge, district harassment, and all that stuff, I don't think fear is a correct term. If you are afraid of someone, why would you get close to them physically? Why would you try to make them feel uncomfortable? Why would you try to make them feel ugly? Why would you try to label them as fat? Why would you try...
There's pizza. There's pizza.
Like, why would you do all this harassment stuff if you are... These people are not afraid. These people are, well, I don't know. I would say, like, a real criminal, maybe you'd be afraid of a real criminal. I've learned, if you're put on sex offender registry, people will, like, harass you, bully, make fun of you, insult you, and also stuff like that. So people aren't necessarily always afraid of you either. I don't know, maybe, then again, nobody wants to live next to a sex offender because legally, you have a right to, if you get enough neighbors to complain, they don't have to do anything to you. If you just literally, they have to petition, I can't explain it. You have to have approval of your neighbors before a sex offender can live or move into a house or something like that. They can do if you get enough neighbors to say we don't want a sex offender living here, they can literally just kick you out for that, or not allow you in the neighborhood period. So there's just little things here and there that people have created ideas on how to kind of avoid people that they deem as extremely problematic in society. I don't know. With my case, like I said, I'm not on a newspaper or anything like that, so for their objective to feel the way that they feel about me, I don't know if they even have... They don't have good reasoning to, in my opinion, to harass me. So, anyway, living like this it's just really hard. To why they do this, why they aim for me, besides the fact I was an easy target, there is financial gain to profit from this situation. I'm not in any way denying that, though. To say that's the pure motivation, I won't go to that extremity. But there is gain they can get financially, and like I said, if you do your job correctly, I don't see why you need to falsify documents in order to gain attention or whatever. But I don't know. They are the way they are. So there's a lot. Actually, the story about the financial aspect, I might get into a separate video of how they ripped me off. Not, again, like I said, I did have health problems, but they did not do it correctly. Basically, they made clear mistakes on few occasions, but it's done enough time to where I'm coming to conclusions that they probably do this to other people. And take advantage of people sometimes. And so it just adds up to my story. Because, individually, those events, not really a big evidence to really anything that I'm talking about. But adding up to the story of my life and how I was bullied and slandered and all that, it kind of adds up to the pieces of lack of respect issues that we were having from the beginning. So I needed help, but they didn't do it the right way. Exactly from the beginning. And so, the healthcare financial abuse situation, it's a little bit, I'm not going to say that they did it purely for money, in that, they're going to get money anyways, right? They have their job, they have their degree, they have their education. It's not like they're a bunch of criminal, drug addicts or drug dealers or something trying to, whatever, rip people off. But like I said, back to stigma, stereotyping, and all that, it adds up to why they kind of did what they did. And man, sometimes, like, I don't know. The area I live in, due to all the things that have happened to me, I don't feel like I live in a good area. I know you could be like, well, this could happen anywhere, no matter what area you live in. Yeah, but I think that living, I think governmental insurance, things like Medi-Cal and stuff, I think feel like they take advantage of the situation a little bit more than if you had used privatized insurance and stuff like that. I feel like it's a little bit like it's kind of like foster care, like in foster. Well, that's a little worse. Most of the kids in foster care, or not most, I think like 1/3 of the kids in foster care are medicated. And of course, they're very alone. They have no family, and they were abused and all that stuff. Like, I could see how they might have mental issues, but yeah, most of it's psychiatric related. So according to statistics, I don't know if it's true, but I think it's between 25% of foster care kids are on psychiatric medications. I was reading that in articles. I don't know if that's true or false, but they just say it's higher, and they're young. You gotta remember, they're not adults. They're like, kids. So, you know, uh, people in the system, it's already been, I don't know, it makes you think. I'm not here to say that these people rip people off or that they're trying to create problems. I'm not saying they're doing it the wrong way, though. They don't get attention. They don't get personal. They're locked in a box kind of thing and stuff. So, I mean, it's possible that it'd be natural, but at the same time, the employees could be a little bit lazy, too. I don't know. From my experience, the system, they're very aggressive in medicine in that they have very, 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 very deep belief in the medicine, more than the emotional type. From my experience, they're not afraid to give people medication. They're not afraid of over medicating someone. And okay, me, I'm the reverse. I kind of didn't really. I mean, I did want medication, but I wanted specific kinds that they wouldn't give me. And that's again another story alone with my psychiatric history and how I felt. But they're okay. I feel like they're a little bit on. They're not afraid of medication. I'll just leave it at that. So, they have a very analytical, kind of scientific chemical imbalance theory, and they're okay with skipping the emotional aspect. They'll listen to you towards a certain degree, but they'll compare your life to everyone that they're dealing with. And a lot of the people that they had dealt with were probably doing better than me, or their life was it was more smoother and things were going more in transition. Of course, life's not perfect. That's why they're taking the medication. That's why they're there. But I felt like most of the people my age or older or younger, I felt like their life was more scheduled and it was more on track. So again, when they compare your life to the other kid's life, they're, again, that could be evidence for them to not take you seriously and to focus more on the scientific aspect of your condition. So it was just a little aggressive. Like I said, I don't necessarily deal with current healthcare providers like that. I make sure, I'm saying this just in case my psychiatrist or primary care physician, in case they're looking at my videos, they might, I'm hoping they don't ever read my, because then they might change my diagnosis. So these videos are actually really, really bad for anyone to even look at that I have dealt with in the system, and that they might fear that I'm criticizing them, which I'm not. This is just a little note in case they are watching, which I hope they're not, because then they're only going to change my diagnosis, which I don't want to. Let's just say a lot of this information has not been told to the employees directly. So, yeah, hopefully these videos only go to victims of slander, these videos are not really orchestrated for family or friends or people that are trying to educate themselves on the issue of gang stalking or community-based harassment, and that people don't believe these situations, so I don't see how I can help a person who doesn't believe these situations are real. So this is more along the line of people that actually are more likely dealing with a similar situation, blah, blah. Though anyone can look at the video, I don't really care. as long as you don't leave negative comments or don't stuff like that. I mean, so that's kind of what my videos are. It's just more in my story. It's not really designed for anything else. So anyways,